Because I'm going to tell you this. You got a lot of so-called black power militants that tell you about kicking white folks' ass and stepping on their neck, and it's time to bang on this beast. But if you actually put them to task, they do more lecturing than they do banging on the beast, unless they're cursing them out on YouTube. And YouTube banging isn't exactly banging on the beast. So you can verbally thrash the people that you're against. You can verbally thrash the people that you're against. But the reality of the matter is, where's the work being done? Are you putting in the work? That's the question. Are you putting in the actual work? So, if you're banging on the beast, can we get some footage? Can we at least see boots on the ground and you really going in? Oh, you're banging on the beast by doing semi-motivational lectures, encouraging other people to go hard against white folks. You're just the guy who talks us into the situation. See, I don't want to be part of that. And I damn sure don't want to be on the lecture circuit for 10, 15 years, regurgitating somewhat the same thing, because then what's going to wind up happening is I'm going to start making up information because I'm running out of lectures. I'm just saying, if I'm a black power militant, you should see me get into a fight here and there with the white man. That's all I'm saying. You shouldn't just be on YouTube. That's all I'm saying. You shouldn't be limited to a YouTube presence if you're so gangster. Because that's what you do. So when someone gets killed and they say, yo, Polight, how come you ain't there? I show up when I can. But I mean, go to the homies who got the boots on and the vest, the rocket launcher looking shit, the cargo pockets. Go to them, because they the ones that's always talking about kicking someone's ass. I'm not the one talking that shit. I'm talking about making the bread. Because militaries have to be funded anyway. You ain't going to war without any money. I mean, what we're going to do? We're going to purchase the weaponry from the people that's shooting us? You see, the whole concept is twisted. The whole concept is twisted. I'm trying to wake y'all up. I'm coming out with the clean. Yeah. But that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, definitely going to speak these facts. It's all love. Because I'm just tired. It's brother Polight. Brother POLIGHT45@gmail.com. If you remember nothing, the main thing that I need y'all to start remembering whenever we have these builds. Sometimes I have to be a little redundant because I want to make sure that if people miss something, they get it back the next time around. Always remember this. Wealth begins at $150,000 a year. 1, you should be able to invest at least 1/3 of your income. 2, also understand that poverty begins at $32,000 a year for a family of 4, and it begins at $15,000 a year for an individual. So that's giving us over $100,000 of space that I still call poverty until I get to the $150,000. You should be always able to invest at least 1/3 of your income. At least 1/3 of your income should always be able to be invested. These are facts. The true 5%ers are the people that are making $150,000 or more a year. But just because you're making $150,000 or more a year doesn't mean you're in the clear, because normally as people's wealth grows, so does their expenses. Because we're just going to practice the same behavior even when we're making more money until we get better coaching. And there's nothing wrong with needing coaching. You know why? Because nothing has been taught to you from pre-K to 12th grade, which is 14 years. You wasn't taught credit. You wasn't taught real estate. So what do you really know about money by the time you're supposed to be functional in this world? School was supposed to prepare you to be an adult in this world. But you didn't learn nothing about how to acquire real estate, nor how to create wealth from good or great credit. So we getting our asses kicked. We getting killed out here. And it's all a setup. The number 2 things you need to know is real estate and credit. Number 2. And they snuck you through the school system for 14 years and not one parent cried or complained and said, yo, where the fuck is the real estate classes? Where are the credit classes? 3 is insurance. And that may sound, I mean, that's a missing word. That's an anomaly. That's an educational anomaly when it comes to our community. Let's be for real. How the heck can you go to school for 14 years from pre-K to 12th grade and there not be one class on credit? As important as credit is to society, you should know something's not right with the system. Something's not right with the system. And of course, you're going to trust your bank to save, right? Hold on, let's really think. Let's really talk. You're going to trust your bank to save. But you know, we can go online right now and we can see how many millions of dollars Wells Fargo has stolen. But black people go in there every day and open up another account. We damn sure could look at BOFA, Bank of America, and we can see how much millions of dollars they've stolen. I'm talking of recent. But black people still go in there and open up accounts. And you can get a student loan and spend tens of thousands of dollars or be tens of thousands of dollars in debt. And guess what? You're not going to ask for a refund even though you didn't get the career that you was looking for. And you're going to go to school from pre-K to 12th grade. And you're never going to get a real estate class in 14 years. You're not going to get a real estate class in 14 years. And you're not going to get a credit class. Not one in 14 years. You don't see the setup? But if it's time to play for a basketball team, you're going to get a coach. You're going to get a coach if it's time to play for a basketball team. But you ain't going to get a coach when it comes to making money. We're talking about having a portfolio. Talking about setting up a trust and having fund managers to set you up a portfolio. That's right. Of maybe tax liens, a portfolio of tax deeds, a portfolio of micro loans, invested in startup companies that'll give you interest if they fail and way more interest if they should succeed. No risk investments. That's what we're talking about. Treasury direct accounts, no risk investments. Bitcoin is pretty interesting too. I mean, just last week, the stock rose from 1,300 to 1,900 inside of 4 to 5 business days. Inside of 4 to 5 business days. So let's think about that. That's real. Inside of 4 to 5 business days, it went from $1,300 to $1,900, and that is going to be the new currency. That's going to knock out PayPal. That's going to knock out Stripe. That's going to knock out all these other systems that they got out there. But you know, we're talking about a portfolio, so we're not just talking about only Bitcoin. I'm just telling you, when you have someone that can properly coach you, take you in the right direction, coming from a standpoint of personal success. Because like I said, it ain't just me. When you deal with me, I give you access to my people as well. I'm able to do a whole lot. But the key is being able to build wealth, grow wealth. What do you have to do when you're building wealth? First of all, the goal should be able to be, your goal should be, if you're not in this space, your goal should be, I should be making $150,000 a year minimum. Why? Because that's where wealth begins. Wealth begins at $150,000 a year. Wealth begins at $150,000 a year. It's the first thing you got to know. Wealth begins at $150,000 a year, and everybody should be able to invest at least 1/3 of their income without hurting themselves, which the magic number becomes $50,000. But many of us don't even make $50,000 a year. So if what is stipulated is that we need to be able to have at least 50 grand to invest year to year, and most of us don't even make 50 grand a year, we already have a problem. Now you may say, man, so this brother's talking about what, life coaching? I call myself a conscious advisor, but you could say a coach, I don't mind. Now you may say, man, what the hell we need a coach for? Well, I'm gonna tell you this. When you went to school, you needed a teacher. When you suffer from alcoholism or addiction, you need counseling. When you go on a team, you need a coach. But when it comes to making this money, you don't need nobody, right? That's ignorant. That's ignorant. So in every other facet of life, you need counseling. You need mentorship. You need a coach. You need something to help you along your way. In school, they call it a guidance counselor. You feel what I'm saying? But when it comes to money, we never had a coach. We never had the support we needed. This is the problem. We don't get the support that we need because we're not even taught, yo, you know what? You need someone to walk you through that understands these things. We got to really get into the idea of getting guidance to get to the next level. You'd be surprised what a conversation do to get you in the right path. And just like in school, you have a classroom filled with 30 people. Consider that the lecture forum where there's a teacher. But sometimes you need a more personal connection or communication from the teacher. Sometimes you need a tutor. You feel me? So there's counseling, there's mentoring, there's coaching, there's tutoring. But where are we at when it comes to this money? We just don't trust no one. We don't talk to nobody. We don't do anything with anyone, and we just wing it. But don't you know the system was designed for us to wing it while other people are growing into inherited wealth? which is how you diffuse a debt wealth system. We're the ones that's subject to a debt wealth system. How are we subject to a debt wealth system? In order for you to get a car, you got to get a car note. Most times, you got to owe somebody money, debt. In order for you to get a house, you got to get a mortgage, death pledge, a pledge until you die, because you're probably going to get the house around 33, 35 years old. You're going to get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Lifetime expectancy is 71, 72. So by the time you pay off the mortgage, presumably you'll be able to pay it off under the best circumstances and terms. Despite hyperinflation and food inflation, you'll be on the way out by the time you finally pay for that property. It won't be held in trust. Chances are it's going to be a matter of probate. Government going to take it back and resell it to another unsuspecting, misguided, uneducated consumer. So to get a property, you're going to go into debt. To get a car, to get a house, you'll go into debt via mortgage. To get a car, you have a car note, you go into debt. To go to school, you need an education, you're going to debt. So you need the car to go to school, you're going to debt. You need a car to go to school, you're going to debt. You'll be driving to school. So one debt for another. So you need a car, you're going to debt via the car note. You need to go to school, you get a student loan, you're going to debt. You need to get a house, you get a mortgage, you're going to debt. And most importantly, if you want to build credit, the number one way to build credit is to go into debt to build a credit profile. So it's a debt wealth society. Debt is a greater commodity than rice is for Haiti, than corn is for Mexicans. Debt is America's greatest commodity, which demands the unsuspecting consumer. So the only way to diffuse the momentum of debt wealth is inherited wealth. So one generation will have to make the sacrifice, which is to expend the time and the energy towards the education to diffuse the momentum of the next generation's debt wealth strategy being employed against them strategically to keep them down or to suffer the lowly status quo of the lower class. Again, like we said, poverty begins at $32,000 a year for a family of four, and at $15,000 a year for an individual. That's poverty. That's poverty. And wealth begins at $150,000 a year. And according to the Standard & Poor's, what will $1 million equate to? $1 million will equate to about $600,000. So we're looking at a 6 to 10 ratio. We're looking at a 3 to 5. So what will your $60,000 be? Or what will $100,000 be in that same ratio? So the problem with this is, if you forecast money, you may be walking into $100,000 on your pension, but that $100,000 on your pension may only be worth $60,000 when you walk into it. It's a $40,000 difference, because the depth of money is going to change 30 years from now, 20 years from now. So we have to start creating our own pensions, our own annuities. These are plans that we got to have, but we don't forecast, because we're like, yo, I just need money right now. I don't really want to plan for 10 years forward. I don't really want to plan for 20 years forward. And this is why every generation of ours keeps being the bottom class, because no one is coming up with the wealth building strategies for today in addition to tomorrow. And anybody that looks good has to be compromised, has to be working with the white man, has to be brown nosing, has to be Illuminati, has to be a fraud, has to be a scammer. And while they scare you away from anybody that has the abilities to coach you into a better paradigm, you wind up having nothing this year, next year, and the year to come. Because whether you realize it or not, you all need a coach. This is a fucking game that they're playing against us. And the only way to win this game is to have coaching. It's not just me by myself. I empower people with members of my team that I used to help me to become successful. I extend their services onto my people as well. That's what we do. That's what we do. So everything from credit repair to just wealth building in general, building portfolios, fund management, depending on what it is that you got to get done, I simply direct you to these people. A lot of y'all found out when you come to me, all I wind up doing is, oh, okay, that's what you need done. I got a guy who deals with that. You need to go over there and do that. I don't even deal with it like that, because I'm straight. I don't want to have my hands in too much stuff. I'm doing what I'm doing. But I could be able to say, you know what, I know exactly somebody who can help you with that situation. But you got to start taking your life more serious. It's a fact. We got to start taking our life way more serious. Stop playing games with your life. Stop playing around and just thinking, you know, I'm going to wing it. You know, I'm afraid to talk to this one. I'm afraid to talk to that one. Yo, I'm paranoid. Yo, let me let my man do it. And if that works out, let me see what happens. And stop thinking that you're going to do stuff overnight. Success don't come overnight. That's a fact. And because success don't come overnight, a lot of us don't even invest because we'll be like, you know, if it's not going to happen overnight, if I can't get this quick flip, man, if I can't flip this money in 4 or 5 days, you feel me? You see, that's that shit that's going to make you wind up trapping and selling drugs and learning the hard way. That's exactly what it is. But wealth begins at $150,000 a year. And you should be able to invest 1/3 of your income. 1/3 of your income. Poverty begins for a family of 4 at $32,000 a year. And for an individual at $15,000 a year. This is a fact. This is a fact.